G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Gauss rifle Mk72. This is a design that is very derivative of the Fallout 2 Gauss rifle. You can see on the pic on screen there, you've got the coiled barrel and the magazine, which is rather pronounced on the Fallout 2 Sprite version of this, so that's pretty cool. A little bit of designing liberties have been taken, but I think it's still a pretty good looking weapon. This thing uses the hunting rifle animations. I've actually got a Battlefield 1 replacer for those now, so it'll be a little bit different, but there's no physical bolts or crank as you're firing this, so you probably could have gotten away with combat rifle animations on this thing and then maybe slowed the rate of fire down or made it a charging system to limit the DPS, but the damage on this thing is not too bad at 166 with an extraneous 9 extra energy damage. That's kind of weird, but let's see if we can get any more. So the receivers on this are all named starting mechanisms, and they're not in the particular order, but you've got your standard light frame, heavy frames, and then there's the tuned one, calibrated for better criticals, and then you get to the more improved one. There's also actually automatic versions of this as well, so you can make this an auto Gauss rifle if you want, including powerful auto, giving you just shy of 200 damage ballistic, getting you over the line with that extra little bit of energy damage along with that. But the strongest per shot damage is the maximum power starting mechanism there. Exceptional damage and increased rate of fire, which is false, but whatever, we'll move on. Right now I've got a short barrel. You can have a light version of that, a longer barrel, a light version of that, or this particular long barrel, which is heavier. I think it's the same thing but twice, so we'll just go for a long light barrel there. That'll increase our range and accuracy fairly significantly, which is nice. Right now I've got a regular body. We can have an improved body, which will increase the recoil control or reduce the recoil, and a rifle core, which is excellent performance, better to aim with a telescopic sight. That actually gives you the same sort of thing as a marksman stock. I would probably assume this body is just a rough translation of the buttstock there, although you'll see it's actually added a second powered thingy, something coil, some sort of Gauss rifle greebling on the side there to make it look cooler, I guess. Now it's symmetrical, which is desirable. And right now we're looking at the sights. You can have standards, glowings, a short scope, a reflex sight, which appears to be that from a combat rifle or hunting rifle, as this derived animations are from. Also a medium scope, a long scope, night vision, and a scope that looks like a giant microwave, but that's your recon scope. And I'm going to throw on a long recon scope on this thing because it's boxy enough. You know, the Gauss rifles in this game are boxy, so we'll play to that. You can have a bayonet on this thing, which is not a thing you can get in the game. That's a triple bayonet matrix there. Treble times the cutting. A compensator, which is looking like a big suppressor. A muzzle brake, which is 3 muzzle brakes stacked on top of each other, which kind of looks awesome, but that will reduce your range slightly, so if you're not going to have a suppressor, don't throw in anything at all. So the suppressor here gives us a little bit extra damage thanks to Ace Operator, and makes the barrel super long. Might even be touching the ground if we have it slung around on our backs. And we've got a legendary effect here if we need it. And these materials here are only for the scope because, yeah, they're the Creation Club things. And obviously this is not using vanilla textures. So we can make this have an Adam Pat skin with flames or Brotherhood of Steel, Children of Adam. Gunners is giving you a nice sort of green paint to it. Railroad gives you a brownie color on it. Do you have anything here that's good? Not really. We'll just go for an Adam Cat's paint because flames on it. That's never out of style. Alright, there's our Mk72 Gauss rifle. Let's see how we get them. I think I skipped over the magazines, so here's what you get. A small clip, a medium clip, a large clip, and fast variants of each. Obviously, we're going to throw on the biggest and most fastest clip there is. Looks more like a magazine to me, but let's not get caught up in semantics. There is only one place where this weapon exists, so you can only get it once. You can only have one of these under normal circumstances, but I'm gonna have 2 because console commands. So you'll find it in a world drop position in the castle. Here we are in the castle, right here on the map. That's what it looks like. And if you go under this doorway near this veranda here, you'll find it sitting in the corner there. Under normal circumstances, it would be sitting on a barrel, but since that barrel has been scrapped, the Gauss rifle is floating in midair, and I've just tossed it across the room by randomly giving it collision when it was previously floating. So we've got 2 of them. I'm going to make the second one automatic. Righto, so here we are outside of the Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our Gauss Rifle Mk72 in first person, and in typical Gauss Rifle and Institute Rifle fashion, it is taking up quite a lot of screen space, real estate at the moment, which I don't actually mind. It's it's kind of charming in a way, even though it's fairly inconvenient. I've got a pretty bad blind spot directly over the rifle right now. And here's the automatic variant I made, complete with a reflex sight, which, well, it's funny how it works, the automatic variant, but I'll just give you a demonstration of how fast this thing fires whilst in bolt action form, spamming the mouse button near the thing, just to give you a reference of how fast I might be able to pull the trigger compared to the rate of fire. Now, that's interesting, but when you go over to the automatic version, it's really fast, and if you release the trigger, it seems like it's got the same shot delay as your standard bolt action rifle type delay. So what'll happen is, I guess the headcanon here, to make it all work out and make sense, is the Gauss rifle needs to recharge again if you want to fire it. But you could probably just get around that by using this thing in VATS anyway to get that 5-round burst. But if you decide to aim down sights and then keep aiming down sights and just pull the trigger once, you will mag dump the whole thing. The only way to stop firing is to click it again. So yeah, there's problems. I've actually noticed these problems ages and ages and ages ago when I did wacky weapons. Having a automatic modified hunting rifle and even lever action rifle would cause lots of issues when using them in automatic form. But we'll get started on shooting some gunners. We should be able to get a decent amount of damage considering the what we've got on the card. But unless we're getting these 4.4 sneak criticals, and this scope is really good. I can see everything with this thing. That's great news. Unless we're getting those sneak criticals, then that was a little bit of a waste, honestly. Then we're not going to be doing too well. Although we've got a giant rate of fire on this thing. Sorry, not rate of fire. Magazine. Bunch of magazines, and having the diamonds on screen to remind me of where exactly they are is pretty nice too. There you go. We'll keep trying to flog these sneak criticals, even get the occasional VATS critical there, just to see what this thing can do with a little bit of VATS assistance. And it might be time to go into danger. It indeed is. So we'll go ahead and use up an entire bar of AP, I suppose. That guy's about to heal, so yeah, as expected, the AP usage on the Gauss rifle with a long scope is not particularly great, but that's fine. But I think as a rifle and a Gauss rifle that fires at this speed doing this much damage, it's balanced. Obviously, we'd be crushing the amount of damage we'd be getting out of a hunting rifle, for example, which would have a similar rate of fire. But you'd probably do slightly better with just a standard Gauss rifle with it charging up, despite the issues that might cause. But if we go over to our automatic variant, which can shoot this fast, yeah, these guys aren't going to last long. And that trigger just would not release. There's something very sticky on the trigger. So I guess we're just going to mag dump this each time. If we happen to get a Scrounger proc to activate, we can get all of our rounds back, and that would be great. 50 rounds ain't nothing. Oh, we're just gonna keep firing. Is this actually taking up ammunition? Because it might be. I feel like I've turned on some sort of cheats or something. Like old school FPS cheats. Like I've J-tagged the Xbox 360 and I'm causing lots of problems. I'm thinking if I release this aim down sights button, then it'll reload. But I will dare say that I was using all of the stop firing, please. I was actually using ammo from the inventory that was not presently loaded into the weapons magazine there, because that was a lot, and I don't have an infinite amount of these, so we should probably be a little bit more careful about it. But yeah, couple of things that probably could be adjusted to make this work a little bit better. You might have to honestly edit the animation files and the triggers within to make it actually work properly. Or, like I said before, suggested, just give it combat rifle animations where you don't have to crank the bolt after every shot. You could easily add just a trigger delay on it to make sure you can't fire it as fast as a combat rifle, so that's probably the easiest, most simple way to fix it. And sometimes that's the way you want to go. You don't have to make modding as complicated as it needs to be. Anyways, we'll go for a critical there. I've learned many things over my short modding career, and you just gotta do the simple stuff sometimes. Don't let your ambition get in the way. Like Todd Howard said once, it just works, and that doesn't apply all the time. As you can tell, the DPS on the bolt action variant is very lackluster when we're used to using the full auto version, so we'll bring that out. We'll probably keep using it, and we'll have a look at this in third person a little bit, see if that sort of cures. Ooh, never mind. If you decide to use this thing in third person, then I don't know, I guess it'll just jam and then you gotta re-crank the bolt again, so no third person gameplay for me. Now I'm wondering whether someone just hurt themselves? That's weird. Sometimes they drop on the ground. I've seen them and they take fall damage and die. You get the XP for it. But that's fine. But I'm thinking we might be able to get 3-round burst. No. It's like it's got no automatic fire rate version. Like maybe there's some automatic things that's been added. Like there's a little gamma gun modification which changed it to automatic. It's how you usually make all of your non-automatic weapons that are wacky full auto, and maybe that's what's making this thing auto. It hasn't got the proper keywords on it, and unfortunately no 3-round burst in VATS, which is a big shame. But other than the weird quirkiness that this weapon just seems to be filled with, it's doing a pretty good job. It's extremely powerful, at least in automatic form, but kind of lacks power, or maybe is slightly too overpowered whilst automatic, and is a little bit better balanced, although a Gauss rifle of the vanilla game would certainly out-damage it in a direct sniper role. So it's in a weird spot where certain parts of it should be better and certain parts of it are just too good and should be toned down a little bit. So it's hard to get a read on this thing for sure. Alright, we've sprinted straight over to the Swan, but I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. And before I get stuck into the big boy here, I just want to take a quick look at that little side panel on the side there. That's actually moving. I've got no idea how they accomplish that, but there's an actual TV on the side of the gun, and it's moving and looping and doing these cool animations, and that's awesome. That's really cool. That's probably the coolest thing about this weapon. It's the most innovative. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that before. Anyways, there's Swan. But hopefully not for long. We're getting sneak criticals on him for a second. They're doing pretty well, but now he's going to charge in and probably do a whole lot of damage to my face if I let him. So let's not let him do that. Jump through here. Now that he's in a little bit closer, we should be able to maximize our damage slightly. Ow. He's actually staggered me and made me shoot my rounds into the ground and doing more damage to myself than I've done to him so far. And whoops, let me just cancel that burst there. It's so weird because you can't just release the trigger, turn around and run. You gotta click again, which is like bad for your muscle memory, and then restart. Just gonna release that trigger. And okay, I didn't realize that we got that close, but we're in Nerd Rage threshold right now, and I think we'll just let this just get over with it. We'll dodge this ghoul in slow motion. Hit him with a bash damage, which immediately brings him up. And there's his head giblets falling into a neat pile. And if you saw my health bar jump up just then, that would be Curie's perk coming in. 100 health at this level where I've got, let's see, 1300 is fucking nothing. So Curie, you are useless. Alright, let's finish this off with a little bit of good old-fashioned sniping, shall we? That's pretty good, right? And, okay, I've decided that I don't want to aim. This is a much faster way of doing it. Look how fast that is. Super fast. And I was hoping for a sniper knockdown, but I'm only getting the occasional staggers, and oof, that... He actually got me then. That's interesting. But I believe we can outpath him by doing this simple trick of, like, walking around. But I think the sniper rifle has outlived its purpose at the moment. No. Bad. Ooh, I wonder if the trigger delay is a sprint delay as well. It's probably not the best time to find out, but we'll keep on mag dumping this guy. We actually got a cheeky little stagger there, and whilst we do have some AP points, may as well use them. Whenever you're ready. While we're young. Whenever you want. Christmas is coming. Alright, here's a critical. We can convince that extra fire rate with the critical, right? No, definitely not. No, this is totally busted, so let's not use that in VATS anymore. Glad I experienced it, now I know what not to do. We just full mag dump, full 50 electromagnetic cartridges, and whoop, look out for that. Swing and a miss from the big fella, and maybe we could just use VATS to get a faster reload, but we've got such a high rate of fire on this thing that you sort of skip around and jump over stuff and just sort of spray and pray, and eventually you're going to do enough damage, because the damage from the projectiles and the rate of fire, something's going to land, so you know, you don't have to be particularly careful about where you're aiming. The only problem is you're going to eat up your Gauss rifle bullets very quickly indeed using this thing, so it's a really bizarre weapon. Like, it's an automatic thing, but it's going to eat up precious ammo very fast, and a sniper version is going to be slow and not as powerful as a vanilla gun. So it's sitting in this spot where it's, I guess you could argue that its utility is good. It can go automatic, but there's definitely probably better automatic guns out there that'll do less damage than this thing, sure, but are using a much more uncommon, more common, not uncommon. Or Cameron, don't know what that is. Or, yeah, just a much more common ammo type for you to use. Just extra bendable stuff like 5.56s, or you could argue 45 ACPs as well. But anyways, if you like to see this thing in your game, check out link in the description. As far as I know, this one is only on PC. But if there's, I think there's an M72 Gauss rifle. It's a little bit different. I think I looked at it ages ago, but it's a reasonable facsimile of this gun. A little bit different, but probably more balanced for a sniper role. I'll put that in the link in the description for the Xbox players as an alternative feature. But that's about it for me. Thank you very much for watching, guys.